Welcome back to Get Real. This is your host, Erin Thomason, here with Bob Gallagher and Kevin Coleman. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Today, our guest is Jim Black from the Jim Black Group in Millbury with Keller Williams. Jim, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy New Year, all. Any big plans for tonight?
I'm going to be running around with a lot of crazy kids. I think there's 20 kids at the house I'm going to.
Wow.
Now that's a party.
Yeah.
That might be the party I wouldn't go to, but good luck to you.
Probably going to need a nap.
Yeah, I definitely need a nap.
Whoa.
So, Jim, tell us about what you do and where you do it and how you got into it.
So, like you said, I'm a real estate agent. I've been licensed since 2004, and we have a real estate team out of Millbury, Keller Williams, and team of 10. Been a team since 2013.
Okay.
Grew from, back in 2010, selling 6 homes, and this past year we sold 212.
Wow. It's quite the jump.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit of a jump.
Yeah. So where do you work primarily?
So we're really from Springfield to Fitchburg to Framingham into Northern Connecticut. So we cover a pretty large area, and we have people located strategically in those areas so we can make sure we service the clients there.
Sure. So what do you attribute your jump from 6 to 200 plus?
Well, I think the biggest thing is copying people that have already done it.
Okay.
So throughout the country, I have a network of a lot of other agents that they've shared what it is that they do to be successful. And a lot of it's been copying it. A lot of it is having some discipline, and probably even bigger is hiring the right people, the people that are going to stay with you. So keeping people long term. For example, my first hire in 2013, 6.5 years later, she's still with me, and I've got several people who've been with me for several years as well. So that's actually helped greatly, because if you're constantly hiring new people and training them, and then hiring new people and training them, you're never going to gain any traction.
Sure. Now, how do you have a team of 10 currently?
Yes.
And I think you mentioned you have 5 support staff. So tell me how that works.
So, 5 agents, including myself. I'm one of those 5 agents still out there selling a ton of houses. So we have a transaction coordinator, director of operations, who right now is one person.
Okay.
We have a listing manager. We have a assistant transaction coordinator. We have an inside sales agent, and we have a showing agent as well, and somebody who's actually doing running for the team. So there's a couple people that have dual roles there. I think the biggest thing is agents should be out there meeting with people and talking to people. Their strength zone is not typically paperwork. So their personality, it's going to be better that somebody else makes sure everything's in order. We use certain tools, and we have somebody doing compliance for us. So they're looking at, making sure everything is in check. And you want to make sure that that's happening when you're selling your home, that somebody's actually making sure all the paperwork's in check. Because, again, real estate agents, that's not their strong suit. Yeah,
I've heard a lot of agents actually say that. Like, they wouldn't be nearly as successful without their support team. So I do think that's important. The other benefit of that probably is that somebody's available pretty much whenever you need them, right?
I think one of the biggest advantages to a home seller is there's a sign in your front yard that has a phone number on it, and you know that somebody's answering that phone. Because if I'm sitting at your kitchen table and we're talking about your home, I'm not answering the phone.
Right.
Well, who's answering the phone if your agent is working as a solo agent? Nobody.
Yeah. So
it's really important that you're capturing those people when you're there. And like you said, if I go on vacation, do you want your home on vacation? Probably not. You actually want your home sold.
Right. So the availability is definitely a big piece of that. What other things should sellers and buyers be asking when they're hiring an agent?
I think one of the big challenges out there is, as a homeowner, it's really tough to differentiate between a professional that's selling 60 homes a year and somebody who's selling 6. And the importance of somebody who's selling the 60 is they actually have the experience to deal with whatever challenges are there. And the second piece of it is, what is it that they're actually doing to sell your home? Are you asking the right questions? Are they taking photos with their cell phone? Are they bringing in a professional photographer? Are they just, going ahead and telling you everything's all set, or are they having a stager come in and give you a consultation to make sure that you have every room set up the right way? Mm-hmm. Do they know the market well enough to help you price your property to actually get it sold, or are they going to, just let you decide what the price is and take a chance of you losing a ton of money?
Right.
When you go ahead and price it improperly.
Right.
So the other piece is, a professional that's actually going to go ahead and know how to negotiate properly and get you the most money. And that's going to be crucial. So really asking them, what are their numbers? Mm-hmm. Like, they should know, compared to the market that's out there, what is their average list price to sales price ratio, their original list price, and how quickly are their homes selling compared to other homes in their market? And if they don't know that, you might want to interview another agent.
And that changes too with the market. So
Absolutely.
You really need to be on top of what's happening.
Correct.
Yeah. Speaking of getting the house sold, I know that you have a special feature that not everyone does. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So there's a couple things that we'll do. I mean, one big thing is we will guarantee to sell your home. And what that really looks like is, there's several different steps throughout the process, but after a period of about 90 or 100 days, if the home hasn't sold and you've done everything that we suggested we do on our end and on your end, we'll buy the home.
Okay. So what does that look like in the past?
So honestly, most of the people don't actually take us up on that offer, because in the end, you're probably not going to get the number that you're wanting to, and we haven't gotten to a point where somebody's willing to do everything we suggest, and the house is on the market that long. That's probably the biggest piece of it. We have had, so I will offer on a house as well. So if I go to a house and somebody wants me to buy their home, I will make an offer on their home. I will give them an analysis and show them what it's worth. Maybe even get an independent appraisal done to make sure that they know what it is that they're getting there. I had one recently about a year ago where I bought a home from somebody who was in the family for about 80 years. A lot of sentimental value. His important thing was to make sure this went as smoothly as possible. And it did. It went nice and smooth, closed on it. I brought him back after we did the renovations. And it was a property I still own. I kept it as a rental property. And when he came back with his wife, I mean, there was tears in their eyes. I mean, I invited them to our client appreciation party. They weren't really a client, but I considered them family after that. It was really a cool thing. And I realized that by doing that, I got an opportunity. I got this property. I really gave something to them. They got life back in this house that was a home to them. He grew up in this house. Yeah. And it was really important to him. And I realized that's something that we can do to help people. And it's not something that happens every day. I didn't want to buy the property. He wanted me to buy it. And I told him I would give him a number that he was comfortable with.
But it sounds like you treated the property right, and therefore the people right, and that's really important.
Exactly, because we're out there in the public. I mean, we're selling 212 homes. We do somebody wrong, everybody knows about it. Yeah. We need to make sure that we're doing right by people. So I'm not gonna hold someone to a contract that's not happy with what we're doing. Yeah. I'm not gonna tell someone I'm going to do something I'm not going to do, because everybody's going to know about it. So it's really crucial in our business, the fact that we are in front of that many people and we are that visible. We need to do things right. We need to make sure that people are happy with the service. Otherwise, go online, look at our reviews. You'll have all these horrible reviews if we're not doing things right. But if you look right now, I don't know that we have anything negative that I know of out there.
So you've been doing this full-time since 2013, right? So it was a little bit...
Like 2010. It's about 10 years full-time. The team's been about 6 years.
Okay. And you said you kind of got into it by accident.
I think that's how a lot of real estate agents get into it. We go and do a whole bunch of different careers, and then we magically fall into real estate. And it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. And I had a friend who was in real estate. He said, hey, you should try this thing out. And I did it, and I didn't want a real estate team. I built a real estate team based on the necessity rather than desire. I didn't really want a real estate team. I had no interest in that whatsoever. And then I got busy. 2013, I got busy. I had to make my first hire. And then we got busy again. So we made a second hire, and I get busy again, and we made another hire. And I think that if a real estate agent, to shift gears a little bit, if a real estate agent's out there and they're wanting to build a business like that, that's the reason to build it.
Right.
Is you've helped enough people get what they want that you really need to build something bigger so you can provide that value. Because I believe that there's opportunity to grow our professionalism out there, opportunity to grow the services we provide to our sellers and buyers, and I want to multiply that.
Yeah.
Like I want as many people doing what I'm doing, helping 40 or 50 home buyers and sellers every year as possible. So if I can grow further east and further west and get more agents that do exactly what we do, we're going to help more people. They're going to have better experiences for it.
Right. Well, and you mentioned too that, once you reach a certain point with your personal success, you start to want to help others do the same. So, I think you kind of stumbled into it and you found it was something that worked for you, and you've kind of grown from that point, and you can help somebody else that maybe didn't realize that, this kind of lifestyle was possible.
That's been a huge thing that I didn't even know that I wanted either, was to help others grow. And I've got to see it over those 6 years. I mean, I've Olivia, who's been with me for 6.5 years, and I watched her, start as just somebody who's doing transaction coordination for us to now running our operations team, and she's actually a coach. Actually, she coaches other admin staff throughout the country, throughout our company. So that's a really, really cool opportunity that she has.
Yeah.
She bought her first investment property. There's all these things. And then I have other agents on my team who I've just watched them over a short period of time. I have another agent, Rich, who's in his first full year, he's sold 40 homes.
Yeah.
I mean, I just posted on Facebook
That's
about
awesome.
that today. Yeah, it's incredible. And that's not something, I didn't do that. I was not an instant success.
Right. Most people don't do that.
No, and I think we've created he's very successful, but I also believe that we've created an environment that will allow people to succeed.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking to create, is just create that environment where if somebody's going to succeed, they will succeed with us in that environment.
So I know you are looking to grow your team as you kind of grow across the state and into Connecticut. So I also know you're very selective in that. So what are you looking for in a new team member?
So I think the real basic things is we want people that are hungry. We want people that have a high level of integrity. We want people that are relationship driven, that really want to help people, that have no commission breath. Because we want to make sure that if they should be buying the home or selling the home, that we tell them that. And if they shouldn't, we tell them that as well.
Right.
So that's probably the basics of it. We work hard, and so we want people that are really willing to do the work. And real estate's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and you guys know it. I mean, being in the mortgage industry, you're side by side with us doing this. So having that, we're looking for agents out in that Springfield, Ludlow area, Long Meadow. We're looking for agents north, and we're looking for agents locally too. We're looking for we have a gap. We don't have any Spanish speaking agents on our team. That's important. We're with the 10 to 15 people we hire over the next 12 to 18 months. Those people, which is a lot of people for us.
Yeah.
Those people, some of it will be staff, and some of it will be agents. So there's other positions. We'll probably need another inside sales agent. We'll need additional. We'll be hiring new agents. We'll be hiring experienced agents, and we have, commission plans that I think work really well for new and seasoned agents within our team.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So, what would you recommend for somebody looking to sell anytime in the future in terms of what they should do to be preparing and interviewing and all that stuff?
So I think one of the most important things I tell people that I talk to say today is if you're looking to sell in the spring, we need to meet next week.
Right.
Because I'm not coming out with my cell phone, taking pictures and posting on the internet tonight. I'm going to come out, I'm going to go through, I'm going to tell you what you need to do to get your house ready. I'm going to have my stager come out and tell you in a little more detail, what color you're painting that room and things like that. And if you want to sell it as is, we'll give you a price that's as is as well. But if you want to get the most money, I would say you're probably looking 3-4 months out if you're thinking about selling your home. So today is the time to really be meeting with somebody.
Yeah.
And just making sure that person is taking a consultative approach like that and not just trying to get the house on the market today because they need to pay their mortgage in a couple months. That's not the right person to hire.
Well, I think a lot of people like don't even want to look at it for the winter, it seems stressful, but they don't realize that it takes a lot of prep time. So, you need to be meeting with people and understanding the process so that you're not just jumping right into it.
You got to love when people call you in April and say, hey, I want to get my house on the market for the spring.
Right.
Yeah. and it's the spring's already started. I mean, the spring's not April. The spring's February, March. That's really, and I had a conversation with somebody today. They were saying April, May. I'm like, that's not really the spring. That's
That's late.
It's very late. So let's meet in January. I talked to them today. I said, let's meet mid-January because that makes more sense. If you're thinking March, let's meet in a couple weeks.
Right. So before we get too far, because we're just about out of time here, if you're interested in buying or selling or becoming part of the Jim Black Group team, the number to call is 508-365-3532. That's 508-365-3532. Now, Jim, I know that you're primarily in the Worcester area right now. That's where you've been, for the last several years. So tell us what you're seeing right now in the Worcester area.
So Worcester is a hot market. I think you don't have to be in real estate to see what's going on there.
Yeah.
Multifamilies, I know the other day we were looking at, it was only 31 multifamilies. That was 2 families and up for sale in Worcester, which is crazy.
And the price points that they're at now.
Oh, and still really
compared
low.
to even 5 years ago.
The demand is ridiculous right now. And we're having to get very creative. I mean, we're having to, there's a lot of sellers that don't want to put their houses on the market for fear that their tenants will move. So we've actually created a network with other agents of houses that people want to sell, but they don't want to put on the market. So we can actually get those buyers a house. So there's a lot of creative things that are going on out there, which is something that we can offer to people as well, is the ability to possibly find some off-market stuff because the inventory is that low, and we're seeing it with single families too. I mean, ever since we started talking about things like the Woosocks coming in, it just everything just started getting a little crazy. With all the you walk around downtown, if you're from Worcester, it doesn't look the way it looked 10 years ago with all the restaurants and shops. You really, it's really becoming a really beautiful place that people want to be, and I see a lot of growth. I see a really strong year. I see a very low inventory, frustrating year for buyers.
Yeah.
And a year for sellers where even though you can pop the house on the market and sell it in a day, hire the right agent that's going to get you the most money for the house and come up with a creative approach to make sure that you get the highest price by getting the most bidders on the property.
Got it. Well, I think we're out of time, but Jim, thank you so much for being with us today. If you are looking to buy or sell your home, call Jim Black and the Jim Black Group, and thank you so much. Have a good one.